Hey, this is Josh with Butler Pool and Spa. I was just going to show you how to work your equipment today. Alright, first thing I'm going to show you how to do is to backwash your filter. What you want to do is make sure your pump is off. Press the filter button, turn your pump off. You don't ever want to turn this valve if it's running. So make sure it's off. Turn it around to backwash. Turn the pump back on. You let it backwash for about a minute. You'll usually see this eyeglass here get a little cloudy and then it'll clear up. We usually let it backwash for about a minute. And the filter is already pretty clean, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it off now. Make sure it's off. Turn it around to rinse. Turn it back on. You usually want it to rinse for about 20 or 30 seconds. And what's that? It's just rinsing out the lines. Whenever you backwash your filter, that's just cleaning the sand inside this filter. If you do not do that, your sand in the filter will get clogged up. Your pool can start to turn green, and you just want to make sure to try to do this once a week or once every 2 weeks. You don't want to wait and do it once every couple months, but once a week is what you need to do. Then turn it off, turn it back to filter. Make sure to put it back on the filter settings. If you leave it on these other ones, it will drain your pool down. So turn it back on. Now your pool is circulating again and your filter is clean. So next thing I'm going to show you now is how your valves work. Now right now, this deep skimmer, shallow skimmer, and main drains are all open. Now this pipe here is a drain behind the liner. Not every pool has this, but a lot of them that we build now do. And the way to tell, most of them are usually marked, but if not, you can usually tell because the one drain behind the liner is 1.5 inch pipe and the other ones are usually 2 inch. And it's usually the valve off to the side. Now you want this valve closed at all times unless we get a big rain and you get water under your liner. Then what you would need to do is open that valve up. And right now there's no water under the liner, so it's sucking air. But other than that, leave this closed at all times. Now these valves here, you want your skimmers and main drains, you want them open at all times unless you were going to vacuum your pool. If you're going to vacuum your pool, you want all your suction from either the deep skimmer or shallow skimmer, whichever one you are vacuuming out of. So right now, if we were going to vacuum out of the deep skimmer, see these valves have an off position. All of this water is being sucked into that pump, going over, into there, over and into there, and straight ahead. So if I wanted to close this main drain and shallow end skimmer off, I would turn this valve right here to where this off position is. It blocks this line off. So both of these are closed. The deep skimmer is the only one that is running right now. Say if I wanted to vacuum from the shallow skimmer, I could turn this valve here where it says off. It closes this deep skimmer off. Wherever this off is, just imagine there's a little stopper in there that stops that water from going past that off. And then I could close the main drain off where this off is and closes that off. So all your suction would be from the shallow skimmer. Other than that, leave them open at all times. And that's how you work your valves. And that's about it with that. Alright, the other thing I'm going to show you how to do this is a salt water system. This is an Aqua Plus. And this is your salt generator. This is what generates the free chlorine from the salt. And to check your salt level, you can hit this menu button till you find diagnostics. Hit the right arrow. Their salt level is at 2,800 right now. You usually want to keep it in between about 28 and 3,400. You don't ever want it above that, or if it starts getting below 2,700, you need to add some salt. It's always best to keep it around 3,000 or 3,200, because the only way you can lose your salt level will go down is if you backwash your filter and lose water, or if it's real hot and from evaporation. But that is how you check your salt level. You can also hit this menu button, scroll through. Say if you want to go to timers, you can go to timers, hit the right arrow. Their time is set, their pump comes on at 8 o'clock in the morning and goes off at 6 o'clock in the afternoon. You usually want it running 10, 12 hours a day during the summertime when it's hot. Now you keep going over their auxiliary one, that is for their booster pump. That's what controls their Polaris. Now theirs is set to come on at 8:30 in the morning and go off at 10:30 in the morning. It runs for 2 hours. And you can always get in there and change that to whatever settings you want. You can also go to the default menu. It'll tell you air temperature, the date, time. That's really all it is with the salt system.